Hello, hello! Chris with Night of Living Card Games back again for day 4 of my run through Earthborne Rangers Legacy of the Ancestors campaign. Day 4 sees us with a brand new underground weather. We now have Glitter Rain coming at us. So Glitter Rain comes in with 4 runoffs and it has 2 challenge card effects. The Yellow Sun is add 1 runoff to this card. Each ranger suffers 1 fatigue, and then if there are 5 or more, flip this card. And then for the blue mountain effect, it is for the remainder of this test, all areas count as illuminated. Then when you flip it over, it has 5 runoffs. It says along the way, which is over here, is considered illuminated. And then the Yellow Sun says move 1 feature or being and discard runoff equal to the presence, minimum of 1. If there is no remaining runoff, flip this card. All right, let's get ourselves set up, and then we've got some story to read for the start of day 4. So let's see, what do we start with? Wonders the Valley, Deliberate, Lambent's Rig, the Vaulting Rod, another Vaulting Rod, and a Quiet. I will keep these 2, and I'm gonna keep the Lambent's Rig. I will do 3 more. A Dear Friend, Bravest Ranger, and a Compassionate. Alright, so to recap, I am tasked with surveying the depths, and so Day 3, I was in the drenching chamber, and it took me all day to get that taken care of. So now my goal is to travel quickly over to the Desert of Endless Night, and then to travel over to Orland's Vault and try to survey the depths there. So hopefully I can at least get over to Orland's Vault and go survey that locale today. But first, the start of day 4 leads us to a story beat. You are awoken by a strange phenomenon. Looking up, you see streams of light, golden light, like fast-running, winding rivers, chasing each other over the low ceiling of looming rock. You sit up and see that the lights run on into a larger cavern and beyond, illuminating the area around you. The moisture on the rock glitters in the light, and you can easily see your path laid out before you. Along the way and within reach are illuminated for the first round. Add 1 per ranger progress to the location. Very nice. I have to do the location setup and things here first. And that is it. Because I had already found Solaro Mako, if I hadn't, other things would have happened. Alright, so for the setup for the Drenching Caverns, or Drenching Chamber, I have to search the path deck for the next feature and put it into play. And as a reminder, it is a 1 presence, 3 per ranger threshold to traverse, and when I perform a traverse test on this location, I may spend 1 energy of any type to commit 1 effort. And thanks to the Glitter Rain, I've got a +1, so I already have 1 on there. So, next feature. Okay, well, the first feature is this guy here. It is a Slumbering Foreman. Got some story to read here in a second, but presence of 1, 4 harm, 3 progress threshold, has 0 power on it. But if I can get it to powered 3, the machine loses feature and gains being, friendly, and illumination. And then for focus and a triangle, to repair the automaton to add 1 power to this machine for every 2 effort. Alright. And yes, that comes along to the Slumbering Foreman. And that is passage 145. The massive shape looming out of the darkness sends you scrambling backwards, only to realize it's one of the many-limbed maintenance machines you've seen scattered around the Arcology. The machines resemble flamboyant beetles, covered with frilled antennae. This one catches your eye, however, because long ago someone inlaid cobalt flower designs around the main photoreceptors. You examine the ancient machine. It appears to be in some sort of sleep hibernation. Perhaps if it were powered on, it would wake from its slumber. All right, if we can add power tokens to it and then clear it with progress, we can reactivate it. But I don't think we're going to be doing that, unfortunately. All right, I think what I am going to do is I am just going to try to get progress over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend 1 green to get our Lambence rig down. Comes in with 3. We are going to spend 2 plus this says I can spend 1 energy of any type. We will actually, yeah, we'll do a compassion. So that is a 3 on 1. And this, because I'm going past it, it fatigues me 1. -1, I succeed with 2, effort of 2. So I get 3 progress on there. Perfect. Blue challenge effect on here. For the remainder of the test, all areas count as illuminated. Okay, so everything is illuminated. Mission, if this mission is attached to a feature that is not illuminated, well, it's not. And then this one is, if it were powered, discard 1 power from the being to add 1 harm to a active feature. Okay. So that is that. So I have enough to get around here. Let us try to remember my ranger training. So I am a 1 versus a 1. 0, I succeed, so I can look at 1 card. Put it on the top or bottom of my deck. I'm going to put this on the bottom, and then I'm going to draw a card. It is a Gauze Blade. Right, red challenge effect. Nothing on the mission. This guy, powered 3. It is not powered, so I don't have to worry about that. I am going to end my turn, and I am going to end my turn, and I am going to choose to travel since I have 3 on here. Let's get ourselves moving as fast as possible to our location. So we are going to travel from the drenching chamber through the cave systems to the desert of endless night. So I will be back momentarily to get that set up and be back. All right, we are over to the desert of endless night. Before I go on, though, I did realize that I did cheat a little bit in the first round. I drew the path card from the initial setup, but I forgot to draw another one at the start of the turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fatigue myself 2 more, assuming it would have been something with the presence of 2, and I would have had to have gotten around it to try to traverse. So we'll just do that and call it even. So we are at the desert of endless night. For a moment, you think you've taken a wrong turn and left the Arcology entirely. Ahead of you is an endless expanse of sand, sculpted by a faint breeze that causes your cloaks to flutter slightly. And above stretches the night sky, pitch black except for thousands of glimmering stars. As you study your surroundings carefully, you realize you are still deep beneath the earth in a truly enormous cavern. The stars are clusters of tiny bioluminescent fungi that grow along the ceiling and upward and upon the stalactite columns that stretch towards it from the dunes. Air must flow in from some distant passage, providing the finishing touches for the illusion as it gently scatters the fine grains of sand into ever-changing dunes. If I was on a mission called the Expeditions Path, I would have more to read, but I am not. All right, so arriving here, it says Lead Ranger, draw a path card. It comes into play face down along the way. Okay. So we flip it over. So Desert of Endless Night has a presence of 1, requires 4 progress to leave it. On refresh, flip 1 path card that is not illuminated face down. It keeps any attachment. Treat face down cards as features with a presence of 2. If a face down card is illuminated, flip it face up. All right, so I can't clear them because they don't have any progress threshold on them. They are just going to fatigue me. The longer I stay here, I'm just going to have a bunch of cards that are going to get fatigued, and then if I flip them up, I get to see what they are. So, all right, so that is the arrival setup. So now we do a refresh, which is get our energy back, ready all cards, there aren't any down, draw a card into bold, and then we draw another path card. It is Vengeful Stalactites. Ouch. Feature, hazard, obstacle, presence of 2, 3 harm threshold, 4 progress threshold. And it says if this feature is illuminated, it loses obstacle. And if I clear with harm, each ranger with less awareness energy than the feature's presence suffers 1 injury. And then red challenge token is add 1 harm to the feature. All right, so if I want to travel, or if I want to try a traverse test, that's going to be 4. That is going to be 4. Fatigue that I have to suffer, which is not great. I am going to spend 1 fitness energy to get my vaulting rod down. Comes in with 2. I'm going to exhaust myself and spend a spirit energy to add 1 progress, or 1 token to an aid card, which the vaulting rod is, and oh no, I don't have my title out. Shoot. I was going to start healing fatigue because I'm used to doing that, but I don't actually have my title out that lets me do that. Oof. That's just rude. All right, we are going to exhaust this, spend a token to exhaust an obstacle. So now I don't have to worry about that. You know what? I just want to get over to Orland's Vault. I'm doing okay. So I am going to try to traverse here. So I'm a 3 versus a 1 right now. Or do I do that? You know what? No, I am not going to do that. Put this back. Because I think I will try to go all in next turn to do that. So what I am going to do is I'm going to spend 1. Let's get a gauze blade out. Just in case. I am now going to try to remember my ranger training. I succeed with a +1, so 2, so I get to look at the top 2. Compassionate and Cordo's Instinct. I don't really want any of those right now, although Cordo's Instinct would be great for when we get to, if we can get to the vault, because that allows me to go grab features. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Compassionate on the bottom, Cordo's Instinct on top, and draw a card. It is Cordo's Instinct. All right, now challenge effects. Yellow. Add 1 runoff to this, and each ranger suffers a fatigue. And nothing here, and nothing there. So I guess I am going to... Oh, I'm going to end my turn. I don't have enough to travel, so we go into the refresh phase. The refresh phase... I have to flip a path card over, and I'm just going to ready it right now. So now we've got 2 of these guys. Ready this, draw a card. It is another Gauze Blade. All right, now we draw another card. It is a Timid Talipid. And then if I clear it with progress, I get to scout 1 path card. Okay. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to exhaust and use a flash here to pick a path card and illuminate it. I will pick this one, illuminate it. I know what it is. We are now going to spend 1. And then exhaust this. Let's try to connect with that Timid Talpid. I'll do Compassion. I realize I need to reshuffle this. So I will be a 5 versus a 1. So if I clear him, I get to scout a path card, which means I get to look at the top path card on the deck, and then put it either on the top or bottom. It doesn't say I have to draw it. It just means I get to look at the top one and then decide if I want it or not. So 5 versus 1. 0, I succeed. So he is cleared. I will scout the top card of the path deck. It is Vengeful Stalactite Obstacle. I am going to put you on the bottom of the path deck. Alright, now Yellow Sun. We add 1 there, and it fatigues us 1. And that is it. Oof. This is not a being, it is a feature, so I cannot avoid it. It is not an obstacle, so I can't do anything there. So I guess I am going to try to traverse 2 with a bold, so I am a 4 versus a 1, but I fatigue 2. 0. I succeed and get exactly what I need to get out of here. Perfect. Alright, red challenge effect. Nothing here, nothing here, nothing on the mission, nothing here, nothing here. Alright, done. So I am going to rest. Or do I want to try it? You know, I'm just going to rest because I don't want to risk another... fatigue to draw this because I don't have a ton here. So it's going to be kind of tight to get through, clear 3 features next before I run out, but we'll do our best. All right, so I am going to choose to rest. And because I have 4 progress on there, I have enough to travel. I am going to choose to travel. I will be traveling along the cave system to Orland's Vault. So I will be right back after I get that set up. All right, we are back. One thing I did do, I forgot to do before I left was I exhausted myself to add a token to my vaulting rods. I spent a focus energy to do that. Not hugely impactful. All right, so we have arrived at Orland's Vault. Although the Arcology's designers clearly had worked to blend form and function in their architecture, the hallways you find yourself in have a markedly utilitarian cast. Rust-frozen grav lifters dangle from low ceilings, and your footsteps echo off the bare metal floor. In places, the walls have collapsed in piles of rubble, and in other chambers you catch the musty whiff of the strange fungi that infest these depths. Even so, you can tell these were once workshops and manufacturing centers. It seems that much of what was created down here was done through automation, in stark contrast to the residents of the valley today, who work by hand and rely on their own craft. Among the detritus and debris, you catch the glint of metal and carbon-forged alloy beneath mounds of rocks and mushrooms. Perhaps you might find something useful if you search here. If I traveled here from Branching Artery, I did not, so I go to 158.1. As you explore your surroundings, you discover a massive sealed door. Try as you might, you're unable to open it. It's far too large to force open, and whatever mechanism once moved it seems to have grown inert. Search the general set for the locked passage and put it into play. And if you have not repaired an invention, which I have not, well, let me get the locked passage first. Let's take care of that, shall we? Locked passage. So locked passage goes along the way, is a presence of 0, has 0 power to it, and a presence or a threshold of 4. Progress cannot be added or moved to this feature except by a ranger with an equipped Lund's door opener. If you clear it with progress, you'll be able to travel away. So this is a feature, a ruin. So basically we got this here, but I can't do anything with until I repaired an invention. All right, so that is that. So now we continue reading. As you inspect the door further, you discover that a critical component appears to be missing, a power source. You spend a few moments rummaging through your gear, but find nothing compatible with the Estian technology. If a replacement power source exists, you're certain you'll find it down here in the Arcology, but where? The moment you have the thought, you spot something at the foot of the door, covered in dust, a note scrawled in a hasty script. I couldn't wait any longer. I'm going beyond the flooded passage, beneath the main artery, to the chamber where the Estians once slept. Don't worry, Holland. I can handle myself. Timo. You recall that Holland was the name of the leader of the Lost Expedition. Perhaps if you follow, you'll learn the team's fate. And we now have not a mission, but a goal to find where the Estians once slept. Okay. Good to know, but I got stuff to do. All right. So when arriving at Orland's Vault, it says the lead ranger draws a path card. Path card is a being, the Crimson Guardian. We got this guy back out again. Comes in with 4 power. And let's see, obstacle disconnected. When there's no power on this being, discarded. Fit plus progress, grapple 2. Grapple with the Guardian to move this machine and discard 1 power from it. All right, let us read his entry, because I know I've seen him before, I just don't remember. A red glow illuminates the hall ahead, and you hear the low mechanical growl. The sound of heavy footsteps precedes a hulking form that all but fills the passageway. It stops and projects several thin red bands of light that seem to scan its surroundings. You stand rock still as the lights move across your body, first horizontally, then vertically. Then suddenly, the machine turns and a powerful blood-red light shines upon you. Okay. That is the setup. So if we look at the location, Orland's Vault, is a 1 presence, 3 per ranger progress threshold to leave it, and it's got an action, focus plus explore, I think that icon is, against a threshold of 2, to tinker with the ancient SDN equipment, to add 1 unique token to an equipped tech for every 2 effort. That's attack, that's attack, that's attack. So I could power up my stuff if I so choose. But in the meantime, we are now in the reset phase or refresh phase. So let us ready all our cards. Put our energy back. Draw a card. Cordo's Instinct. Guess I didn't need to pick that one up before. And now we draw another path card. It is Flow Steel Controls. It is a feature in a machine. Presence of 1. Comes in with 1 power, 3 harm, 6 progress threshold. And it gains illumination because it has 1 power on it. And if I do focus and triangle to manipulate the liquid metal control panel to add progress to this feature equal to your effort. And I know I have had this one before, but enters play. The strange circular pedestal rises up from the ground, and although the attached metal plates are as solid as the surrounding walls and bulkheads, something about it seems strangely amorphous. You study the wavy ripple pattern in the material and realize that this is definitely flow steel. You study it further and spot several subtle bulges and depressions scattered across the surface in regular intervals. This looks like a control panel. Perhaps you can figure out how to work it, and it may give you some control over nearby Arcology systems. Clear it with progress to figure out the controls. Alright, this is a feature, however, so I am going to attach Survey the Depths to it. Alright, so my turn. So first things first, we are going to exhaust the Vaulting Rod to exhaust the Crimson Guardian, because it is an obstacle, and the Vaulting Rod is exhaust and use a token to exhaust an obstacle. Doesn't matter that it is a being, or whether it is being or a feature, just as long as it has the obstacle keyword. Alright, let us... We're going to exhaust ourselves and spend a spirit energy to put 1 on there. We are going to try to traverse the feature. So I'm a 2 versus a 1. I don't have any other cards I can commit to it, so... Oh, I fail. And because I fail, I suffer an injury. So I lose my entire stack of fatigue cards. So there goes both my Pakodos. That is disappointing. Alright, and then we get a yellow sun, so... Add 1 here, and then this fatigues us. Nothing here. That guy's exhausted. Now we shuffle that up. That was incredibly unfortunate. Alright, well, I'm going to try this focus plus manipulation. 1 versus 1, because I don't have any icons to pitch to it. So, but unlike the traverse test, it's not going to do me damage if I fail it. +1, so I succeed with a total effort of 2. So that means I get to put 2 progress on it. Now, Blue Mountain. See the weather. For the remainder of this test, all areas count as illuminated. Okay. Doesn't matter here. This. If this mission is attached to a feature that is not illuminated, but it is, and this is powered 1, yep. Discard 1 unique token from a machine or tech to add 1 unique token to another machine or tech. Okay. So I basically move a token. So why don't we move 1 from my gauze blade? Let's put it onto the lantern. Oh, man. Don't have a lot to do now. So I guess I am going to end my turn. Yeah, I guess I just end it. Alright, so we ready everything up. Put our energy back. Draw a card. Intention Translator. Draw a new path card. It is Timid Talpid. Okay. Let us... Oh, I forgot to... When I rested, I had to fatigue myself, 1, because of the injury. I don't think I'm going to be wrapping this thing up today, but we shall see how it goes. We will exhaust this to exhaust you. We are going to try to avoid the Timid Talbid. We will do 2 versus 1. 0, I succeed, so I have avoided him. Red challenge, nothing is active with a red challenge. Right, let us spend a compassion to put another token back on my vaulting rod. We are going to try the traverse test again. So 2 versus 1. 0, I succeed. And I realize now when that came up that I did make a mistake. I should have illuminated this first. Because... Oh, hang on a second. Blue Mountain first. For the remainder of this test, all areas count as illuminated. Beautiful. So the mission doesn't trigger, but I do need to move a tech from a tech. So let's, again, move it from the gauze blade, or let's move it from the gauze blade down to 2. Take it up here. And then we succeed with a progress of 2. So we get this up to 5. Now we're going to try that ability. So focus 1, and I've got 1 icon in my hand, so I'm a 2 versus a 1. -1, I fail. No red challenge effects are up and going, so nothing there. I guess... Oh, I gotta shuffle. I'm gonna try to connect after I shuffle with that 2 versus 1. Actually, I just realized, instead of putting the tech on my lantern, I will put another one on my vaulting rod. There we go. That looks better. Alright, so 2 versus 1 in yellow, +1, I succeed with with an effort of 3. So I got 3 on there. Blue Mountain, that means everything's illuminated, so that doesn't trigger. And now I move a token, so... We'll just shift back from the lantern to the gauze blade. Alright, that is my turn. I am going to rest, and because of my injury, I lose one there. We ready everything up. Put our energy back. Draw a card. There's my Stout-Hearted Guardian. That's useful. And then we get a Prismatic Mushroom feature. Illumination Mycelial. Alright, first things first. We will spend 2 to get the Stout-Hearted Guardian out. And then we will exhaust and spend this 3rd Spirit Energy to put a token on the Vaulting Rod, which now will allow me to draw a card there. Or take one of my fatigues back. So we'll exhaust this to deal that. We are going to try to avoid that guy. So 2 versus 1. +1, I succeed. This, I gotta play this game again. So 3-2. But we do have a new challenger. What is this? If there is an act of prey, exhaust it. There is not. Okay. So I think what I am going to do is I am going to try to do the focus test so I don't take another injury. So we will commit my sketchbook, so I'm a 2 versus a 1. -1, I succeed. 1-1. You win on tie. Players win on ties. So I win with an effort of 1. So that goes up to 6. So that clears it. Oh, I've got to read the passage first. So this will come back and I have one on there. So now what do we read if we clear it? 146. We read. After long minutes of touching, pushing, caressing, and eventually punching the various controls, you touch the right combination of buttons. The whole panel suddenly ripples, steel flowing and splashing like a vertical pool. Before a 3-dimensional map of the nearby Arcology corridors rise up out of the quicksilver substance. You touch the controls, zooming into a specific part of the map. We get to choose one of 5 options. If you are at a water location, which I don't think I am, let me check. Nope. If you are at a ruins location, which I am, open a nearby door, discard flow steel controls, place 5 progress on a feature or 3 on a location. Well, I'm not really leaving here, so... And I can't put anything there. So I could just clear those mushrooms out if I wanted to. If I'm at a trail location. I am at a trail location. So I could discard it to scout 3 path cards, and then each ranger scouts 2 path cards. Ooh, that's interesting. So I get to scout 3, and then I get to scout another 2. If I'm at a cave location, it is not a cave location, so I can't do that one. Or I can activate the weather system to return the current weather to the collection and put a preserved day into play. I'm okay with the weather. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the discard flow steel controls and scout 3 path cards. Then each ranger scouts 2 ranger cards. So let's scout 3. So we got 1 Vengeful Stalactites, Juvenile Spindle Scutter, and a Prismatic Mushroom. All right. So I'm going to put the Juvenile Spindle Scuttler on the bottom, and I will put Prismatic Mushrooms on top and Vengeful Stalactites right below it. So those are 2 features. And then I get to scout 2 ranger cards. So my Lantern and Wonders of the Valley. I am going to put my other copy of the Lantern on the bottom. I'm going to leave Wonders of the Valley on top, so that when I make a connect test, I can try to clear out a feature. All right. Okay. So that was for clearing that out. So I guess last things last, I'm going to spend 2 fitness energy to finally get quiet down. And now I'm going to end my turn, which causes me to fatigue. So, oof, I'm going to have like a couple rounds to do this before I fatigue out for the day. So we ready everything up. Oh, this is gone. Put my energy back. Draw a card, which is my ranger badge. Now we draw a path card. It is the prismatic mushrooms feature, which I will then attach you to. I'll just leave that there. All right, we are going to spend 2 spirit energy to get my ranger badge down. We're going to exhaust and spend a focus energy. Or actually, hang on a second. I take that back. I don't think I'm going to do that. No. I'm going to try to connect. Okay. So I know I got the stalactites coming up. Oh no, I don't have the card yet. That is next turn that I will get that. Okay. All right. All right. So what I am going to do is I'm going to try to do a traverse test. I'm a 4 versus a 0 onto the prismatic mushrooms. 0. So I succeed with a progress of 4. Which clears it. Which gives me a second on it. Blue Mountain. So it's illuminated. Nothing happens here. Nothing here. If there's an active predator, that is not a predator. That is not a predator. Nope. If there's active prey, there is. Exhaust it. Add progress to it. And harm to this feature both equal to that prey's presence. So we put 1 on here and 1 harm here. And that is enough to clear you out. You know what? We are going to... Oops. We're going to exhaust ourselves and spend a focus to get 1 on the vaulting rod and draw a card. Wonders of the Valley. That's what I needed. Okay, perfect. You know, just to be safe, I'm going to spend 2. I'm going to do Cordo's Instinct. So that allows me to search the path deck for a card and place it either on the top or bottom. I know I've got another feature coming up next, but let's see if I can get an easier feature. So we've got another prismatic mushroom. We've got a trail of ooze. Trail of Ooze is interesting, but I don't particularly know what's going to happen with that one, so we're going to leave that out. There's 1 more prismatic mushroom in the deck. That is a feature, so we're going to put that on top. And we are going to end our turn. actually, we're going to exhaust this guy, and we're going to try to connect to you. 3. Let's do 4 versus 2. Let's just try it. -1, I succeed with 3 progress, so I'm at 3 of 6. Yellow sun, I fatigue 1. Maybe that wasn't a great idea, but that's okay. Nothing, and then I may exhaust a ranger card to soothe 1 fatigue. The soft light is a relief from the encroaching darkness. I will exhaust this gauze blade to do a fatigue, and that is a bold. Nice. All right. I am done. I am going to choose duress, which my injury triggers, so fatigue 1. Now we ready everything up. Put our energy back. Draw a card as a deliberate, and now we draw a path card. Hey, look, it is a prismatic mushroom. Okay. So I think what we're gonna do here so we are going to try to traverse, and we are going to commit bold and wonders of the valley. So we're a 5 versus a 0, so we can't not do, oh, before I do this, actually, I'm going to exhaust this guy. Don't need him swinging at me. So 5 versus a 0. -1, I succeed with 4 progress. So that clears you. And that gives me my 3rd token on Survey the Depths. So I get to read 1.106. As you explore the chamber known as Orlin's Vault, you recall the story of Sal Orlin, how it is said that the doors to the vault opened as if operated by an unseen hand, and before him sat the Carbon Forge, illuminated alone in the pressing darkness. You're surprised then to learn that the Carbon Forge he discovered was but one of many, part of a vast workshop in which much of what the Estians wrought was brought to life and subsequently abandoned. However, these other forges are clearly in a state of horrible disrepair, perhaps beyond salvaging. You also find several depowered and disassembled machines, some as small as your closed fist, but others the size of a stilt horse. You're guessing that the Estians use these machines extensively in constructing and maintaining the Arcology, and there are probably more workshops and maintenance bays deeper within. Discard all the surveys from Survey the Depths, check off the bubble. If there are 2 or more bubbles filled, which there now are, go to 1.106A. All right. With the goal of completing your survey task for Solaro in sight, you decide to stop for a while to rest your feet. In this moment, you become fully aware of the inherent stillness of the Arcology, and you wonder, if you weren't down here tromping around, how much quieter would it be? Would it be wiser, perhaps, to leave this place undisturbed? Your thoughts drift to memories of the open sky and to the sweet scent of sunberries on the breeze. You're stirred from your reverie by the sounds of approaching footsteps and hushed conversation. To your surprise, Quizzy Voss comes sprinting towards you, her way illuminated by a curious lantern, a transparent sphere containing what appears to be a glowing slug. You spot her father Harlan and Cal Ivor walking calmly behind. Quizzy sits down heavily beside you. "This is incredible," she says. "Look at the slug I found." Quizzy is in the middle of recounting the finding of the slug when her father and Cal approach. "Sorry to interrupt your story, Quizzy," Harlan says, "but we have a message from Solaro for our friend here." He turns to you. Solaro's research has borne fruit, and he's off to the concordant ziggurats to put it to the test. He's requested your help in whatever he plans to do there, so he sent us on an errand to find you and deliver the message. Before we left, he was going on about the Arcology being asleep and just needing a nudge to wake it up. I've never seen him so excited, and that's saying something. Cal steps forward. I'll take over the survey mission from here, so you can go help Solaro, he says. Solaro had a wild gleam in his eye when we left him. I'm not sure what to make of it. I think he may be more in need of your good sense than anything else you might provide. You brief Cal on the survey progress and make note of the final location on your list. Cal claps you on the shoulder. Leave it to me, he says. And me, Quizzy announces. Let's go, Cal. Whoever's got the slug goes first. With that, Quizzy is off, her father close behind. Cal looks at you pleadingly for a moment, then follows. Complete the Survey the Depths mission and gain an urgent request mission. All right, let's go look at the urgent request, shall we? Is it on the back of this? Nope. All right, where are you at? Urgent request. Oh, it was behind the first card, of course. I didn't bother to look at the first card. The back of the first card, I looked at all the backs of all the other ones, though. All right, so in urgent request, Solaro has requested that you meet him at the concordant ziggurats. You can either head to the surface via the spiral stairway in the chimney, or find an elevated passage to ascend to the surface. And when you arrive at the concordant ziggurats, you get to read 1.102. And for the record, if we go back up to... So Orland's Vault is connected through ancient ruins to the chimney. I think I can go that way. Yeah. Yeah, so I can go up that way because it's not locked. It doesn't have the triangle on it indicating it's locked. So I can go straight up to the chimney. And if I go up the chimney, I hit the spire, and I need to come down to the concordant ziggurats. Otherwise, I have to go find an elevated passage, hope that there is one in there. So I think we're just going to be going to the chimney and that. So I think that's our plan, but I doubt we will get there this turn. All right, so I did that. We got the urgent request mission. Each ranger soothes up to 2 fatigue. Okay. So we get following our footsteps in the stout-hearted guardian. And then write down the name of the unchecked location from the Survey the Depths, followed by unexplored on the campaign tracker. If Cal Ivor is in play, return to the collection. He is not. All right. So that was for all completing that. Let us... Blue, so nothing. If there is an active prey, there is not. Okay, so that is that. So I've got one more turn at most. We will exhaust ourselves and spend a focus. Put something here, and let's get our last one, a vaulting rod. Okay, that's at least an icon I can throw. And I guess... we're going to use Cordo's Instincts to try to make sure that I've got something not terrible. At this. All right, so I think we're going to put one of these guys on top. Okay. And that's going to be my turn. So we will, because we're injured, we're going to rest. So I get that. Ready everything up. Put our energy back. Draw a card. It is our last card. So the next thing we do, the next time we have to draw or discard off our deck, we will have to end the day. Draw a path card. It is that Timid Talpid. To me, first things first, let us exhaust and spend an energy to put a token on my rod, and I get to draw my last card off the fatigue stack. I am now going to have Quiet go chase off or go have a snack with the Timid Talpid. He takes 3 damage. Quiet takes 1 back, and this is defeated. We are going to use our rod to exhaust this Guardian. And now we are going to try to... Oh, this guy is discarded. We are going to try to traverse. So I'm going to use my Vaulting Rod. It's got 1 icon. Deliberate gains an icon because I have 6 or more cards in my hand. So I am a 4 versus a 1. Well, good news and bad news here. Actually, what I should have done first. Do I... Yeah, I'm going to say that I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to shuffle this up. Wasn't thinking of a card that I've got in my hand. So what I've got in my hand, it makes it a little less likely that I'll get out of here, but... So Bravest Ranger, I'm going to spend 1 fitness energy to do the Bravest Ranger. And what it says is, when you would suffer 1 or more fatigue, you may instead place that many cards from your hand on top of your fatigue stack. So... And I have to exhaust to do this. So at least for 1 turn, I can handle 1 fatigue just by doing it. All right. So now I'm going to do that test 3 to 1. So before I had a little bit of a buffer of 1. Now, again, I kind of cheated a little bit. I saw it was going to be a sun, so I would have ended the day. So either way, the day is going to end after this turn. If this is a 0 or a +1, I can travel. Actually, I don't think I can. Oh, yeah, I still can because the fatigue from the injury I can use from my hand. So, all right. It is a +1. Okay, actually, it doesn't matter. So, +1, so I succeed, so I get enough on it. This triggers. Add 1 runoff to it, and each ranger suffers 1 fatigue. Okay, so I will then Bravest Ranger to instead put a card from my hand on my fatigue stack. And then now that there are 5 or more, I have to flip this over. Okay, no yellow here, no yellow here. That... Sure, I will exhaust my Gauze Blade to recover a fatigue. However, let me just double check. I believe the injury happens on rest phase, not on refresh phase. Injury. Oh no, it is during the refresh phase. Okay, I've been playing that wrong. I was doing it during the rest phase. All right, so during the refresh phase, I did it. So I can travel with this. Okay. So I've got enough on there. I am going to choose to travel, and camp. So I am going to travel to the chimney via the ancient ruins, and I am going to camp along the way. So that is that. So a little bit of a cheat there at the end. I do apologize for that, but what are you going to do? I realized that just as I was flipping over the card, I'm like, wait, if I get a fatigue, I'm done, and I've got my badge in my hand. So, again, don't judge me too harshly. As always, you make it to this point. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Hit the like button. You want to see more, subscribe. I got Marvel Champions. I got Earthborne Rangers. I got everything coming. So I'll be back along for next one will be day 5. But until then, I hope everybody has a great night.